So our project, which is supported by Deutsche Welle Academy, which is a German organization, is capacity building rural correspondents or journalists across the country. And we are going to train about 70 of them who then will be treated as multipliers for this on different platforms and through the legacy media to ensure that we mitigate the effect of disinformation, especially those that affected rural communities, because some of the rural communities had no capacity to determine what was genuine and what was not. So our intervention is based on the fact that KCA has a countrywide network of journalists then that can multiply the information or factual information that can go towards helping the communities to understand what is factual and what is not. Actually, we have actually raised the issue of delayed pay with editors. We have recently, we have two major media houses that two of them have not paid their journalists since July. And the journalists are going through a lot of difficulty. And that is not the only one. We are just talking about two main ones. Others we have been able to raise, some of them have been paid. They are briefing us about what efforts. Of course, different media are citing economic difficulties, but that is no excuse to subject journalists to difficulties. So we are actually asking the media houses, both the large and the small houses, because there's a lot of mistreatment of journalists in the smaller media houses. But then we also require information from the journalists in the smaller media houses. What are the contractual arrangements that they have? Because unless we know about the contractual arrangements, we would not like a situation where they are hired on phone, and without any kind of, we need to read the contracts. So we urge all the journalists to give us information, and actually we give a warning to different small media houses that are exploiting journalists, and some of them are putting journalists on internship for 4 years, 5 years. We are asking journalists not to stick to those media houses because that is exploitation. So during our monitoring, from July to August, the first two months, that is before the elections and then immediately around the election period, we have done monitoring in 25 counties across the country. And our report, which we have just released, points to the fact that 34 journalists were under attack, were intimidated, were followed up or trolled on social media. And out of 34, 21 of them were male, who faced different attacks. And the attacks were from politicians, from their supporters, from other news sources. And there was also 11 specific cases of female journalists who faced a lot of harassment because of being female. We have made recommendations to the editors and media owners in terms of how they need to take care of journalists, because there are gaps in terms of how they're taking care of the interests of journalists, in terms of delayed salaries, in terms of failure to pay journalists transport, allowances, and facilitate them in their work. Also failure to respond to their needs as they work in the field. We have also made recommendations to political parties in terms of working together with the media to facilitate journalists' work and ensure that they do not allow their supporters or themselves to attack journalists in the course of duty, because journalism is protected under Article 34 of the Constitution, and journalists should be allowed a good environment to work.